stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our.
Thank you for tuning in to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. My name is Tony and I'm here with Genevieve. We invite you to listen to our broadcasts both live and on demand. Our live sessions are available on the Blind Community Thrift Store YouTube channel Monday through Friday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. each week. Additionally, you can access on-demand content through the Audio Reader Network, which offers a wide range of audio materials for the visually impaired community. To explore content from the Audio Reader Network, please visit www.reader.ku.edu. The site provides details about accessing content via Amazon Alexa, Audio Reader Network mobile app, and information on receiving a radio to listen to the broadcast by KSMU Radio. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio. Genevieve, would you like to start us off?
Yes, good morning, everybody. A new partnership expands homeless shelter access for Springfield youth. An article by Marta Mies of the Springfield News Leader. A new partnership is expanding the number of beds available for Springfield's homeless youth to spend a night. Since opening in April 2024, the Youth Connect Center shelter has offered 8 emergency shelter beds for youth ages 13 to 21. Currently, the shelter is full Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights, with the resource accessed by local youth more than 1,000 while in crisis since its inception, according to a Youth Connect news release. Youth Connect Center is a program of Foster Adopt Connect that aims to fill gaps in local youth experiencing housing instability by providing a safe space for them to meet with youth and their families and helping access different community resources. There is a photo of the Youth Connect Center, a program of Foster Adopt Connect located at 425 West McDaniel Street, Suite 160, that offers 8 beds. The photo features the building itself with the logo that is YCC, and it looks like a housing logo, and it comes in a variety of colors. There is a pride flag hanging in the window outside of the brick building. Now the center is partnering with the Glow Center, the local LGBTQ+ resource and community center, to provide local youth increased access to shelter. Through the partnership, the overnight shelter will be open 5 days a week from Monday through Friday. The release announced Thursday, August 13th. Volunteers of the Glow Center will bridge the gap in current Youth Connect Center overnight shelter staffing in order to be open 2 additional nights. This partnership will replace Glow's existing crisis cold weather shelter, the release noted, instead focusing on a year-round effort. We're excited to work alongside the Youth Connect Center and Foster Adopt Connect to expand the number of nights that safe and LGBTQ affirming emergency shelter is available to Springfield youth, said Erin Kitchens, Glow's executive director, in the release. Our volunteers have always been at the heart of Glow's work, and this partnership gives them another meaningful opportunity to make a direct difference in the lives of young people in our community.
And a federal funding bill could delay the Missouri ban on hemp beverages. Rebecca Rivas with the Missouri Independent brings us this story through the Springfield News Leader that says hemp-derived THC beverages could stay on Missouri shelves past November 12th, the day the state's ban on intoxicating hemp products takes effect, if Congress gives the final approval to a short-term funding bill and the president signs it. In an overnight vote Saturday, August 8th, the U.S. Senate approved a measure to fund federal agencies until December 11th. It would also delay the federal ban on intoxicating hemp THC products until that date. It now goes back to the U.S. House for final approval before heading back to the president's desk. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe signed a bill this spring to take all intoxicating hemp products off the shelves starting November 12th, largely aligning state law with the federal ban that Congress approved last year. But the state law carves out one exception. If Congress delays the federal ban, everything except intoxicating beverages is still banned in Missouri as scheduled. Jay Patel, president of the Missouri Hemp Trade Association, said there was bipartisan support in the U.S. Senate with a vote of 61 to 31 to keep the delay in the funding package, and it's a good sign for the intoxicating hemp industry. There's a lot of support from the White House, actually, to get some sort of regulation passed that's meaningful, Patel said. Whatever happens on the federal side, it's not going to fully solve our problems in Missouri. The association and a coalition of hemp businesses filed a federal lawsuit last month in an attempt to halt the state hemp ban from going into effect in November. The lawsuit, filed in the U.S. District Court for the Western District, claims the bill state lawmakers passed this spring contains unconstitutionally vague definitions for hemp and marijuana. John Grady, who owns Slap Happy Hemporium with his wife Kara in Rosebud, Missouri, said the U.S. Senate's action shows a strong likelihood that they'll be able to sell their company's THC seltzers through December. They've already had customers stocking up on their favorite items, such as edibles, that will be banned in Missouri no matter what action the federal government takes. We started off as a beverage producer, Grady said. So for us, that is a good thing, but it also hurts the whole other part of our business. The Gradys are members of various different organizations that are pushing to use the delay to get comprehensive federal regulations for hemp products in place by December 11th.
Affordable housing project in South Springfield aims to serve veterans. An article by Marta Mies of the Springfield News Leader. There are 3 key points in this article. A proposed rezoning in South Springfield could create up to 40 new affordable housing units. The development, named Arnold Place, would reserve 8 units for disabled or formerly homeless veterans, Several local organizations have backed the project, which is seeking state funding through low-income housing tax credits. A rezoning of land on the south side of Springfield would add up to 40 units of new, affordable housing options for Springfieldians and local veterans. With the project seeking state funding support, several local organizations have backed the proposal. Springfield Planning and Zoning Commission heard a request to rezone 1.5 acres at 4285 South Kansas Avenue on Thursday, August 13th, which would make way for a new affordable housing development. The property is just east of Springfield's Gene Taylor Veterans Affairs Clinic on West Republic Road. The rezoning would allow a higher density of housing types. Currently, the land is zoned for commercial mixed-use neighborhood, which includes low-scale mixed-use and commercial uses. The rezoning to residential mixed-density neighborhood, medium, would give way for a range of residential densities from detached homes to urban lots to medium lot apartment buildings. This development would be limited to a maximum of 40 dwelling units. There is a photo of the 1.5 acre property at 4285 South Kansas Avenue that is proposed to be rezoned to make way for an affordable housing development. There is a large orange zoning public hearing sign with the phone number call 864-1611 on it. Dubbed Arnold Place, the project received several letters in support, including from the Community Partnership of the Ozarks, Representative Alex Riley, Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce, Centerstone, and others. According to city documents, most of these were addressed to the Missouri Housing Development Commission in support of the commission rating the project highly for funding consideration through low-income housing tax credits. This included the support from Springfield City Manager David Cameron. Per the letters, the development is proposed by Sherry Vale Development, developers behind Nordic Landing Apartments on Catalpa Street, and the controversial Chimney Rock subdivision in Galloway, according to the company's website. Arnold Place would reserve 8 units for disabled veterans and veterans exiting homelessness, which several supporters highlighted as an even greater benefit because of the development's proximity to veteran healthcare services. CPO, per its letter, is partnering with the Sherryvale as the lead referral agency and service provider for Arnold Place, providing an on-site resource coordinator to assist residents. Centerstone, on the other hand, would be the behavioral health partner, providing services at both its outpatient location and through on-site visits. There is another photo of the vacant grassy lot with a sign on it that says available. Looks like it's available by Murray Company. The development will provide high-quality, thoughtfully designed, affordable housing integrated into a welcoming residential community rather than isolating vulnerable populations, CPO's President Janet Dankert wrote in the letter. We believe this approach represents the best practice for long-term housing stability, allowing veterans and individuals with disabilities to live alongside other residents, while receiving the supporting services they need to remain successfully housed. Currently, the lot is part of the property owned by the adjacent Southland Christian Church. Because of this, the city's senior planner, Michelle Sparlin, said the rezoning includes a condition that the lot be subdivided from the church's property by March 31st, 2027, for the rezoning to become effective if approved. He explained that while the property is currently under contract with the developers, if that transaction does not pan out, the land would retain its current zoning. The commission unanimously recommended approval of the rezoning Thursday night, with Commissioner David Jaquez absent. Before voting, Commissioner Eric Pauley expressed his appreciation for the proposed project and noted that he believes it would be a benefit to the city. The proposal will now head to Springfield City Council for a public hearing on September 8th.
And the Sea Lions show at the Missouri State Fair has been canceled after a truck crash. Ahmed Jawadi with the USA Today Network brings us this story through the Springfield News Leader that says the Sea Lions Splash Show at the Missouri State Fair has been canceled after the tractor trailer carrying the animals crashed early on Thursday, August 13th. The tractor trailer was en route to the Missouri State Fairgrounds when, at around 3 a.m., it struck a concrete median barrier on westbound Interstate 70 near the 133 mile marker in Boone County, according to the Missouri State Highway Patrol. 4 people and 3 sea lions were in the vehicle when it crashed, and 1 person was taken to University Hospital with moderate injuries. The sea lions were taken to the MU Veterinary Health Center, where they were evaluated and confirmed to be in excellent health, according to the Missouri State Fair. The Sea Lion Splash Show was slated to debut on Thursday and run through Sunday, August 23rd. Despite the cancellation, the Sea Lions could still make an appearance at the fair. In an update, the MSHP said the animals will be continuing their trip to Sedalia for the Missouri State Fair. And in more local news, the Rage Room closes after 8 years here in Springfield. Brian Smoot with the Springfield Daily Citizen says the Rage Room in Springfield at 1850 South Glenstone ended its tenure with an announcement that broke at least a few hearts. On August 11th, the business focused on destruction, self-described as the best thing to do in Springfield, shuttered at 8 p.m. after 8 years in business, according to a post on its Instagram account. Before its closure, the business focused on a few things, but the main draw was always relieving stress via absolute destruction of glass and other household objects. Participants were armed with sledgehammers, baseball bats, safety masks, and more. They were given a set amount of time to go wild. Participants could have been as young as 11 years old, with parental supervision, of course. Axe throwing was also on the menu at the Rage Room, with options to throw instead of break or to throw and break. Their mission was to, quote, provide a secure and supervised place for people to unwind, enjoy themselves, and relieve some stress, according to their website. The Rage Room did not respond to requests for comment. The space, which is located in the Plaza Shopping Center, was leased to the Rage Room by Springfield Property LLC, according to the Greene County Assessor's Office.
Missouri Public Affairs Hall of Fame names new inductees. An article by Janice Reeser of the Springfield News Leader. Missouri State University has named early childhood education pioneer Susan Blow, humanitarian and political scientist Ken Rutherford, and the Dunn Family Foundation as the newest inductees into the Missouri Public Affairs Hall of Fame. According to a community announcement, the 3 honorees were selected for their connections to Missouri and their records of service that reflect the institution's public affairs mission. The inductees will be honored during a ceremony beginning at 6 p.m. September 10th at the Old Glass Place in Springfield. Tickets for the black tie optional event cost $50, and table sponsorships also are available. University President Richard Biff Williams said in the announcement that the inductees have made a lasting impact through their leadership, generosity, and service. Each of this year's inductees have made a meaningful impact through years of leadership and service. Through their vision, generosity, and dedication, they've improved lives, strengthened communities, and inspired others to make a difference, Williams said in the announcement. Interested attendees can purchase tickets online at publicaffairs.missouristate.edu/halloffame/induction.htm. Sponsorship information is available from Kelsey Menifee, Director of University Advancement Relations, at kelseymenifee@missouristate.edu or at 417-836-4143. Honorees span education, humanitarian work, and philanthropy. Blow, who lived from 1843 to 1816, is receiving the Hall's Legacy Award. Often credited as the mother of the American kindergarten movement, she launched an experimental public kindergarten at Des Peres School in St. Louis in 1873. After studying the educational philosophy of German educator Friedrich Froebel. Support for the program grew quickly. By 1880, kindergarten programs had been introduced throughout St. Louis public schools. Blow also helped draw national attention to kindergarten education through demonstrations at the Centennial Exposition in Philadelphia in 1876. The movement expanded rapidly, reaching hundreds of schools across dozens of states before the turn of the century. Rutherford built an international reputation as an advocate for people affected by armed conflict. Before joining James Madison University, she taught political science at Missouri State University, where she helped establish the university as a United Nations depository library and supported its public affairs mission in leadership roles. There is a black and white photo of Susan Blow. Next, there is a photo of Ken Rutherford. He looks to be somewhere in a savanna-like setting in the sun, squinting into the distance. A survivor of landmine explosion in Somalia, Rutherford co-founded the Landmine Survivor Network and helped lead the international campaign to ban landmines, which received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1997. That same year, he accompanied Princess Diana on her final humanitarian mission in Bosnia-Herzegovina. His later work included helping negotiate victim assistance provisions in the Convention on Cluster Munitions and directing the Center of International Stabilization and Recovery from 2010 to 2019. The announcement said that he has been recognized among the 100 most influential people in armed violence reduction and has received honors that include the Global Humanitarian Award. Founded in 1981 by Bob Dunn, the Dunn Family Foundation was created from a family tradition of charitable giving tied to the legacy of J.E. Dunn construction founder John Ernie Dunn, Sr. The Kansas City-based foundation focuses its philanthropy on education, human services, spiritual development, and community well-being. A board representing 4 generations of the Dunn family oversees its charitable efforts. According to the announcement, J.E. Dunn Construction contributes a portion of its net income to nonprofit organizations each year, totaling more than $17 million in recent years. Employees also volunteer more than 54,000 hours annually through community programs. Together, the foundation, J.E. Dunn and Company employees work with more than 1,100 nonprofit organizations nationwide each year, extending the family's philanthropic reach beyond the Kansas City area. The new class joins 43 previous Missouri Public Affairs Hall of Fame inductees who have been recognized for contributions to Missouri and communities beyond the state. This story was produced with the assistance of artificial intelligence. Journalists were involved in every step of the review, editing, and publishing process.
And Planned Parenthood begins offering procedural abortions in Springfield. The Missouri Independent brings us this story through the Springfield Daily Citizen that begins with a photo of the Planned Parenthood Clinic, which is located at 626 East Battlefield Road. Abortion access in Missouri continues to expand under the constitutional amendment voters approved in 2024, less than 3 months before they'll be asked to undo it. The latest expansion is in Springfield, where Planned Parenthood began offering in-clinic procedural abortions Thursday. Just a few weeks earlier, the clinic began prescribing abortion medication, returning abortion access to the Missouri Ozarks for the first time in 21 years. The Springfield Clinic will offer procedural abortions up to 12 weeks into pregnancy, Planned Parenthood Great Rivers said in a press release. Chrissy Durant, a spokesperson for Planned Parenthood Great Rivers, which operates the clinic, said appointments are already fully booked for this week. For now, the clinic will offer both medication and procedural abortion appointments every couple of weeks, she said, but that is subject to change as clinic staff work out a longer-term schedule. Prior to July, Missourians in the area had to drive hours to reach a Planned Parenthood clinic where they could end a pregnancy. Reproductive rights advocates point to limited paid time off, child care access, and lack of transportation as barriers to accessing abortion outside a person's hometown. Quote, "After decades without abortion care nearby, we have seen patients right here in Springfield, and they are relieved to find the care they need within reach of where they live, Dr. Margaret Baum, Chief Medical Officer of Planned Parenthood Great Rivers, said in a statement. We know abortion care is on the line in Missouri, and that's exactly why we are expanding. We won't back down. We are standing proudly in solidarity with our patients who want, who need, and who voted for access to abortion care. The Springfield Clinic is the fourth Planned Parenthood in the state to offer in-clinic procedures after Missourians passed a constitutional amendment in 2024 protecting abortion up to the point of fetal viability. Planned Parenthood clinics in Kansas City, Columbia, and St. Louis restarted procedural abortions in 2025. All four clinics, along with the Planned Parenthood in Gladstone, offer medication abortion following a June court ruling that struck down dozens of abortion regulations challenged under the 2024 amendment. The judge in that case upheld only a few of the challenged abortion regulations, including a requirement that patients meet with the doctor in person before being prescribed medication abortion, and a requirement that only physicians can perform abortions. Durant said these laws affect Planned Parenthood's ability to offer more appointments at this time. Planned Parenthood officials have advocated for patients' ability to choose which abortion method is best for them. Medication abortion is the most common method for ending a pregnancy in the U.S. It typically involves taking mifepristone, which in Missouri must be administered at a clinic, followed later by misoprostol. The Food and Drug Administration has approved the regimen for use through 10 weeks of pregnancy. Procedural abortions, which can be performed later in pregnancy, take place in clinic using various methods and are completed much faster than medication abortion. This November, Missouri voters will decide whether they want to reinstate an abortion ban. The proposed constitutional amendment, which will appear on the ballot as Amendment 3, would ban the procedure with limited exceptions for survivors of rape and incest and for medical emergencies. It would also write a ban on gender-affirming care for minors, already prohibited under state law, into the state constitution.
New Springfield initiative encourages donations to nonprofits, not panhandlers, by Brian Smoot of the Springfield Daily Citizen. Let's see, there is a picture of the intersection where the Bass Pro Shop is and Wonders of Wildlife. There is a sign on the pole out front that says, "It's okay to say no to panhandling. Support local organizations that can help." Signs have gone up at various high traffic intersections in Springfield. Their message is clear. It's okay to say no to panhandling. Support local organizations that can help. The signs were posted by the City of Springfield, partnered with the Community Partnerships of the Ozarks, Crosslines Community Outreach, Victory Mission, and United Way Ozarks for a new educational program called Help Starts Here. The new program was spearheaded by Councilwoman Callie Carroll, chair of City Council's Community Involvement Committee. Springfield is joining many cities across the U.S. in its mission, according to a release from the city. Stated goals include awareness of local services available to help those in need, reducing cash donations at intersections, and increasing donations to local service providers. The program posits that donations to service providers go further than giving directly to people asking for cash. Many times in the Ozarks, we see people in need on the corners asking for help. United Way Ozarks Region President and CEO Brandy Van Antwerp said in the release, "When we can instead donate to a local nonprofit whose mission is to help folks in need, we're able to stretch those dollars further." Jason Hinson, Executive Director of Victory Mission, said sometimes cash donations on street corners can prevent individuals from seeking more lasting help. "I've heard stories from individuals who, because they received donations at intersections, that they have been stuck one more day in their situation, thinking about daily survival versus thriving," Hyson said in the release. At Victory Mission, we want to take those donations and help people with counseling, jobs, shelter, food, to give them that chance to make lasting change, rather than that one-time $5 that keeps them stuck in survival mode. A post made by the City of Springfield on Facebook elicited mixed reactions, with some applauding the efforts and others stating their intent to keep giving to people at intersections. More information about the program can be found at springfieldmissouri.gov/help starts here.
And jaywalking leads to a gun charge for a man convicted of murder 27 years ago. Jackie Rewalt with the Springfield Daily Citizen brings us this story that begins with a photo of a police car from a social media post about the arrest of Dominic Hatch on Sunday, August 9th. A man initially suspected of committing the minor offense of jaywalking is now in jail and facing a federal weapon charge after police say he attempted to flee. Dominic Hatch, age 44, has been charged with being a felon in possession of a firearm. Hatch became a felon back in 1999 when he was 17 and pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and armed criminal action. According to old newspaper articles, Hatch was 16 in 1998 when he and another teenager beat 15-year-old Alicia Armstrong to death with a baseball bat in Kansas City. The articles say Hatch and his co-defendant, then 15-year-old Lorenzo Burns, attacked Armstrong for the purpose of stealing his shoes. Police said Burns wore the victim's shoes while the two joked about walking in a dead man's shoes, a Kansas City Star article states. Hatch was sentenced to 25 years in prison for Armstrong's murder. It's not clear when he was released or how he ended up in Springfield. But according to court documents and a recent social media post from the Springfield Police Department, an officer observed Hatch jaywalking near Kansas Expressway and Kearney Street on Sunday, August 9th. Following is a booking photo of Mr. Dominic Hatch by the Greene County Sheriff's Office. He's standing in front of that gray cinder block wall and wearing a gray t-shirt. He looks, honestly, like he might be on some substances. When the officer approached Hatch to discuss pedestrian safety, Dominic bolted, the SPD post states. A short pursuit and taser deployment later, he was in custody, and a search turned up a firearm on a convicted felon. According to the criminal complaint for his new charge of being a felon in possession of a firearm, the officer contacted Hatch in the Walgreens parking lot at 1525 West Kearney and noticed Hatch, quote, appeared to be extremely nervous and visibly trembling. During his investigation, the officer learned that Hatch was on parole for murder in the second degree and armed criminal action, and then attempted to conduct a pat-down of Hatch, an ATF officer wrote in the report. As the officer began to conduct the pat-down, Hatch fled on foot. After a brief foot pursuit, Hatch was taken into custody. According to the statement, Hatch told the officer that he ran because he was in possession of a weapon. The officer retrieved a loaded pistol from Hatch's left pocket. SPD's social media post had more than 2,000 likes as of Wednesday afternoon. Springfield police have stepped up enforcement of jaywalking and cars not stopping at crosswalks following 6 pedestrian crash fatalities in the first half of the year.
Ozarks landowners file complaint against Liberty Utilities, an article by Marty Miez of the Springfield News Leader. There are 3 key points to this article. Liberty Utilities is planning transmission line projects in the Ozarks, leading to a dispute with local landowners. A formal complaint has been filed with the Missouri Public Service Commission to pause property acquisition. Landowners allege Liberty Utilities is avoiding state oversight by splitting a larger property into smaller segments. A utility company is planning transmission line projects in the Ozarks, which have included sending notices of purchase offers and threats of potential use of eminent domain to acquire easements. Local landowners are pushing back and asking the Missouri Public Service Commission to require the utility to take additional steps before it can proceed. Utilities in the region are making investments to strengthen the grid and improve reliability as required by new regulations in the Southwest Power Pool. Among those is Liberty Utilities, which is building roughly 90 miles of 345 kV transmission lines in Missouri. The project includes replacing the current 69 kV transmission lines with a 161 kV line along the 26-mile corridor that connects Ozark Dam substation in Taney County to the Ozark South substation in Christian County. Liberty has dubbed this the Ozark to Branson transmission line. Property owners in Christian and Taney counties have filed a complaint with the PSC claiming Liberty should be required to go through the state's transmission line approval process before proceeding with acquiring property. In a news release, Henry Meuart, Eminent Domain Law, the law firm representing the landowners, alleges Liberty is splitting the larger project into segments as a way to keep it under the threshold that would trigger the requirement for the utility to seek a certificate of convenience and necessity. The certificate process would allow the public and the state to explore whether the project was needed, whether this is the right route, and what the cost to ratepayers would be. Our clients are not trying to turn the lights off in Branson, said Bethany Meuart, a partner at Henry Meuart, in the release. We have asked the Commission to step in before another acre is taken. Liberty Utilities acknowledged the complaint and noted it will work with the Commission throughout the process. A representative from the utility stated the project is part of an initiative to make the grid stronger and more reliable, especially during extreme weather events. In those Ozark and Branson areas, Liberty is upgrading approximately 26 miles of line, some of it more than 100 years old, along existing corridors in an attempt to minimize the impact on customers and landowners. We recognize landowners may have concerns, the emailed statement read. Our goal throughout this project is to work with landowners to identify and address, where reasonably possible, potential issues. We strive to reach equitable agreements that include consideration of the needs of particular landowners, our customers, and the millions of residents across Missouri and the Midwest who we expect will ultimately be served by this initiative. According to the release, Liberty has already sent 30-day acquisition notices to almost all the property owners and has initiated at least one eminent domain action in Christian County. In the complaint, landowners allege this Ozark-Branson transmission line would be built on taller structures with wider clearances, requiring new and expanded easements across property owners' lands, which qualifies as new construction, not maintenance of existing infrastructure. It is the construction of an entirely new transmission line that will carry a voltage capacity that is 233% of the current capacity, and will require the acquisition of new real estate assets in the form of new or expanded easements, the complaint stated. Owners of agricultural or horticultural land taken for certain certified electric projects are entitled to enhanced compensation under recent amendments to Missouri's condemnation laws. The complaint alleges by avoiding the certification process, Liberty would deprive qualifying owners of these protections. The Commission has ordered Liberty to respond to the complaint within 30 days and has directed PSC to investigate and file a report.
And Ozarks Tech opens its doors to a new student union that is being called a model for the nation. Marta Mees with the Springfield News Leader brings us this story that says Ozarks Technical Community College is putting itself on the map. On Wednesday, August 12th, the school opened the doors to the new Michael L. Parsons Student Union, also known as the U, as an asset encouraging Ozark Tech students to engage and connect. The three-story, nearly 100,000 square foot building includes event spaces, several patios, the Academic Resource Center, a food court, and a fitness center. The centralized student hub was the final piece of the college's multi-year master plan for the Springfield campus. The building is named after former Governor Mike Parson, who during his tenure secured $46 million for the total $48 million project. Additional support came from the Ozarks Tech Foundation. This is the model for the rest of the nation, not just Missouri, but for the rest of the nation, Parson said. Today I get to have my name on a building for me and my family, but it was always about tomorrow for me. It is our time, mine and our time, to make sure the next generations have the same opportunities that we've all had. The space was created with students in mind and incorporates their feedback, Higdon said. The food court includes a Starbucks, Hardee's, Little Caesars Express, and a third location for the local craft sushi. According to an Ozarks Tech news release, Eagle Breakfast, a free morning meal available to every student, will be served through Hardee's. Following is a photo of the new student union, also referred to as the U, that opened its doors this past Wednesday, August 12th. Looks like it has a whole lot of glass on its middle floor. Little less glass on the bottom and third floors. It's a very architectural looking building. On the second floor, students can enjoy lounges with video game consoles or work out at the fitness center, complete with a track, weight racks, and a plethora of other exercise machines. The outdoors are intertwined in the building's roll-on campus. Several patios provide study spots with a view of Springfield's downtown, and green space right outside the U includes hammocks, Adirondack chairs with fire pits, and yard games. The U creates more opportunities for those connections to happen. Connections for community building while bringing together the resources students need to stay on track and complete their education, said Catherine Moore, Ozarks Tech board chair. A conversation over lunch or a study session between classes may seem like an ordinary part of the college experience, but those moments can make the difference between a student feeling like they are navigating college alone or knowing that there are other people that are invested in their success. And that success extends far beyond the campus. Following is a photo of former Missouri Governor Mike Parson as he addresses the crowd gathered to celebrate his namesake, the new Michael L. Parsons Student Union, on the Ozarks Technical Community College this past Wednesday. The Academic Resource Center is also home to the Hamra Family Library, Tutoring Center, Carol Jones Writing Center, and study and meeting rooms. The area also includes a larger meeting room for student organizations and a recording studio for students and staff in need of a multimedia space. The Eagle store near the front entry of the U meets student needs for snacks, school supplies, and their Ozark Tech Spirit gear. Right next door, the multi-purpose Cox Health Court, which starting in September will host intramural sports, including basketball, volleyball, pickleball, and others, according to the release. The new center is a result of several investments from across the community. Those donors include Osborne Family Student Lounge by Kevin and Lynn Osborne, Bailey Family Welcome Center by Howard Bailey, Centerstone Focus Lounge by Centerstone, Central Bank and Central Trust Stage by Central Bank of the Ozarks, Commerce Bankshares Foundation Conference Room by Commerce Bankshares Foundation, the Cox Health Court by Cox Health, David and Stacy O'Reilly Auto Parts Plaza by David and Stacy O'Reilly, George T. Investa Car Event Center by George and Ann Carr, Jenny Carr, GT and Krista Carr, Steve and Angie Carr, Great Southern Bank Patio by Great Southern Bank, Jim and Kathy Moore Cardio Zone by Jim and Kathy Moore, Judy and Mike Breeding Clock Tower by Judy and Mike Breeding, Randy and Cindy McGinnis Student Lounge by Randy and Cindy McGinnis, Rick's Automotive Family Lounge by Rick and Karen Hewlett, Robert and Susan Bain Terrace by Robert and Susan Bain, Train Technologies Conference Room by Train Technologies, and Volt Credit Union Club Hub by Volt Credit Union. In addition to the U, the college added 218 parking spaces through the Lot O expansion on the north side of campus. Lots C and D on the south side of campus, which were closed during construction, will also reopen with 76, adding nearly 300 parking spots to the Springfield campus.
Cyclospora infections jump 44% in Missouri amid U.S. outbreak. An article by Ahmed Jawandi of USA Today Network on the Springfield News Leader. Cyclosporiasis cases in Missouri jumped more than 40% over the last week as infections continue to rise nationwide. The Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services reported 1,577 cases of the foodborne illness on Sunday, August 9th. nearly 500 more than the 1,095 cases reported a week prior. Missouri currently has the third highest number of cyclosporiasis cases in the country, according to the latest figures from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The agency said the cases are part of the multi-state outbreak linked to contaminated Taylor Farms lettuce. The CDC confirmed nearly 14,000 cases nationwide as of August 10th, with an additional 10,455 cases that have yet to be laboratory confirmed or require further investigation. The agency's surveillance lags state reporting by several weeks. There have been 740 hospitalizations and 2 deaths so far. What is cyclosporiasis? Cyclosporiasis is an intestinal illness caused by a microscopic parasite known as Cyclospora, according to the CDC. Infections can spread through the consumption of food or water contaminated with the parasite, though the illness is usually not life-threatening. Symptoms of cyclosporiasis usually begin about 1 week after exposure and may include watery diarrhea, most common, loss of appetite, weight loss, cramping, bloating, increased gas, nausea, and fatigue. Anyone with the illness should stay hydrated, keep their electrolyte levels up, and get plenty of rest. Healthcare providers may also prescribe antibiotics. How to prevent cyclospora infections. While the outbreak is ongoing, it's recommended to avoid certain produce, such as fresh herbs, greens, and berries, and to practice additional food safety measures. You don't have to swear off all produce, but you may want to follow these tips. Wash your hands with soap and water when handling raw fruits and vegetables. Wash all fruits and vegetables thoroughly under running water before eating, cutting, or cooking. Fruits and vegetables that are labeled pre-washed do not need to be washed again at home. Scrub firm fruits and vegetables, such as melons and cucumbers, with a clean produce brush. Remove any damaged or bruised areas on fruit and vegetables before preparing and eating. Refrigerate cut, peeled, or cooked vegetables and fruits and vegetables as soon as possible.
We are currently broadcasting live from the Blind Community Thrift Store situated at 2713 North Kansas Expressway in Springfield, Missouri. For additional information about our store, please visit our official website at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. To explore more of our video content, including movie reviews with Matt and Meredith, adaptive technology training videos, and other informative material, please visit our YouTube channel by searching for Blind Community Thrift Store. Our organization is dedicated to supporting the blind community through various initiatives, and our online platforms serve as valuable resources for community engagement and education. And longtime journalist Jacob Brower is releasing his novel September 10th. Janice Reeser with the Springfield News Leader says longtime journalist Jacob W. Brower will release his debut novel September 10th on September 10th, marking the 25th anniversary of the date on which the story is set. A public book launch sponsored by the Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce will take place at 11 a.m. at One More Page at 306 East Commercial Street in Springfield, according to a community announcement. The novel follows Jack McCune, a finance executive in the World Trade Center through September 10th, 2001, while also exploring events from earlier in his life. Rather than focusing on the events that follow, the story centers on an ordinary day. Neither the characters nor the narrator know what comes next. Quote, September 10th has always fascinated me because I don't remember any of it. For most people, it was about as ordinary a Monday as you could imagine. This isn't September 11th book. There are plenty of those. This is intentionally a September 10th book. It's about an ordinary day in an ordinary life. There's no foreshadowing, no little did he know, no grand revelation, none of that. The bar I set was, if the book were called February 23rd and set in Springfield, would it still be worth reading? If not, I wasn't interested in writing it, Brower said in the announcement. Brower said in the announcement that the concept originally began as a possible nonfiction project before shifting to fiction. Quote, I realized the historical record couldn't tell the kind of story I wanted to tell about an ordinary Monday. So I built the book around one fictional character and wove documented events and period details into his life, Brower said in the announcement. People who enjoy going down fact checking rabbit holes as much as I do should have some fun with that. Brower said in the announcement that parts of the novel draw from his own life experiences. Quote, I wanted the book to reflect the full range of an actual life. Some of it is painful, some of it is tender, and some of it is ridiculous, Brower said in the announcement. Jack and I have lived some of the same stories, and a lot of the weirder stuff actually happened. It was the more ordinary things I had to invent. At the time portrayed in the book, Brower worked as a reporter for the Joplin Globe and Missouri Southern State University's student newspaper, The Charge. He later served as publisher of the Cassville Democrat and the Monette Times from 2013 to 2018. He is now founder and president of ABM Strategies, a consulting and marketing firm based in downtown Springfield, according to the announcement. According to the announcement, Brower had completed much of the manuscript before realizing the release date would coincide with the 25th anniversary of the day depicted in the story. Once I realized that, it became important to me that the book be released on that day, Brower said in the announcement. September 10th will be available through Amazon and select bookstores. This story was produced with the assistance of artificial intelligence. Journalists were involved in every step of the review, editing, and publishing process. You can learn more about that at cm.usatoday.com/ethical-conduct.
Trial date set for Missouri redistricting. Respect Missouri voters cases by Rudy Keller of the Missouri Independent on the Springfield News Leader. The key points of this article are: a Cole County judge will hear arguments on 2 proposed Missouri ballot measures blocked by the Secretary of State. One measure seeks to overturn the state's new congressional map, while the other would limit lawmakers' ability to alter voter-approved initiatives. The court is expediting the cases to meet a September 8th deadline for placing questions on the November ballot. The fate of 2 proposed ballot measures, a referendum on Missouri's gerrymandered congressional map, and a constitutional amendment limiting legislative power to alter laws passed by initiative, will go on trial next week. A Cole County judge decided Wednesday, August 12th. Circuit Judge Daniel Green ordered back-to-back hearings for the 2 measures Secretary of State Denny Hoskins blocked from a statewide vote. He also allowed the Republican National Committee, the National Republican Congressional Committee, and the Missouri Republican State Committee to intervene in the redistricting case. Both of the cases are moving quickly because state law sets a September 8th deadline for court orders adding questions to the ballot. Missouri Supreme Court Chief Justice W. Brent Powell sent Green letters about each case. Green noted in court Wednesday morning, asking him to move them quickly to give time for appellate review. There is a picture of the Cole County Courthouse in downtown Jefferson City. It is a towering historic building of white stone. In the referendum case, the committee seeking to overturn the congressional map, People Not Politicians, is challenging Hoskins' assertion that redistricting plans are not subject to a statewide vote. People Not Politicians submitted more than 305,000 signatures in December to force the statewide vote, and local election authority reports compiled by the campaign show it has enough signatures to qualify for the ballot. In the lawsuit over the proposed amendments, the committee promoting it, Respect Missouri Voters, argues Hoskins is wrong in his assertion that the proposal contains too many subjects. If enacted, it would block lawmakers from altering a law or constitutional amendment passed by initiative unless 80% of lawmakers agree and the changes are ratified in a statewide vote. No complete report has been compiled for the proposed amendment, but a spot check of local reports on the Secretary of State's website shows it also has enough signatures to qualify for the ballot. If Green orders a statewide vote, it would be on Amendment 6 on the November 3rd ballot. The only drama in the hearing, August 12th, was whether Green would grant the Republican committees the right to intervene in the referendum case. Mark Ellinger, a Jefferson City attorney arguing to be allowed to intervene, said Republicans have a direct interest in making sure the gerrymandered map drawn by lawmakers in 2025 is the one used in the November election. At the insistence of President Donald Trump, the General Assembly muscled the new map through with the goal of taking the 5th District from Democratic U.S. Representative Emanuel Cleaver. The primary election that nominated State Senator Rick Bratton of Harrisonville was conducted in the 15-county district drawn in 2025 that stretches from Kansas City to Jefferson City. That district heavily favored Republicans in past elections, while Cleaver has always been a strong candidate in the districts as they were drawn previously. Ellinger said his clients want the new map to be used. 6 of Missouri's 8 districts were altered as the map was changed. If the old maps are used, it's particularly egregious because you have candidates that will now campaign in different districts, Ellinger said. In some cases, slightly different districts. In some cases, completely different districts. Republicans need to know whether it is worth it to spend money to defeat Cleaver and whether it must dedicate money to the Missouri referendum, Ellinger said. It affects strategy and organizational challenges and decisions on where to deploy resources, in what races to deploy resources, in what ballot measures to be involved in or not be involved in, Ellinger said. Chuck Hatfield, attorney for People Not Politicians, argued that the questions facing Republicans also face Democrats, and that is not enough to qualify to intervene. Hatfield also said he worried Ellinger's interest is in delaying the case so that no decision is rendered by September 8th. One way to do that is to seek a change of judge. I offered to consent to intervention if they would agree not to take a change of judge, Hatfield said. They declined. After the hearing, Ellinger said he had no plans to seek a change of judge or delay. The trials will be held Tuesday with referendum issues argued at 1:30 p.m., and the constitutional amendment case will start at 3 p.m.
And which Missouri school was named the best community college in the nation? Ahmed Jawadi with the USA Today Network brings us the answer to that through the Springfield News Leader. He says community colleges can offer students a quality education and access to career opportunities post-graduation at a fraction of the cost of many four-year institutions. For instance, during the 2025-26 school year, tuition for a full-time undergraduate program at a public four-year university was nearly 3 times higher on average than tuition at a public 2-year in-district community college, according to College Board. For those considering the community college route, you'll find one of the best in Missouri. WalletHub, the personal finance company, released a study examining the best and worst community colleges in the country for 2026. Here's what to know. WalletHub ranked State Technical College of Missouri number 1 in its community colleges ranking. In its analysis, WalletHub compared more than 610 community colleges across 18 key indicators, including cost of in-state tuition and graduation rate. Those metrics were then grouped into 3 categories: cost and financing, education outcomes, and career outcomes, to determine each state's overall score. State Tech ranked among the top 5 nationally for both education outcomes and career outcomes, which isn't too surprising given the school bills itself as the employer's choice. Its score in cost and financing, meanwhile, was more middle of the road. Cost and financing, 345th. Education outcomes, 3rd. Career outcomes, 5th. State Tech earned a total score of 73.99 out of 100. And what did WalletHub have to say about State Tech? Quote, "The State Technical College of Missouri, located in Osage County, Missouri, is the best community college, in part because 90% of students stay with the school from the first year to the second year, the best retention rate in the country, and 79% of students graduate, the best graduation rate in the country. In addition, the school students receive the third largest amount of grant or scholarship aid at an average of $9,223 per student. This helps make it extremely unlikely that students will default on any loans they do have to take out. Lastly, the State Technical College of Missouri also offers credit for life experiences and provides employment services to students, which can help them graduate more quickly and obtain jobs sooner. So, did any other Missouri community colleges make the list? Well, several made the list, but none came anywhere near State Tech's ranking. They include East Central College at number 267, North Central Missouri College at 351, Jefferson College at number 356, Metropolitan Community College of Kansas City, number 362, Missouri State University West Plains at 369, State Fair Community College at 408, Mineral Area College at number 445, Moberly Area Community College at 462, St. Charles Community College, number 463, and Crowder College coming in at number 544. So what were Wallet Hub's top 10 community colleges across the country? We have State Technical College of Missouri here in Lynn, Missouri, Manhattan Area Technical College in Manhattan, Kansas, Mesa Lands Community College in Tucumcari, New Mexico, Mitchell Technical College in Mitchell, South Dakota, Pratt Community College in Pratt, Kansas, Saddleback College in Mission Viejo, California, Gogabic Community College in Ironwood, Michigan, Colby Community College in Colby, Kansas, Clackamas Community College in Oregon City, Oregon, and finally coming in at number 10, Alexandria Technical and Community College in Alexandria, Minnesota.
Temple Grandin will be speaking at the Nixa Performing Arts Center, an article by Janice Reese of the Springfield News Leader. World-renowned animal behavior expert and autism advocate Temple Grandin will speak at Nixa Public Schools Atos Center for the Performing Arts on April 22nd, 2027. The public event is scheduled for 7 p.m. at Meridian Title Performance Hall at 514 South Nicholas Road in Nixa, according to a community announcement. Tickets for the presentation will go on sale to the general public at 10 a.m. July 29th. Admission is $35 per ticket. Grandin is a professor of animal sciences at Colorado State University and travels extensively to speak with audiences across the United States. According to the announcement, Grandin has written more than a dozen best-selling books and was the subject of the Emmy Award-winning HBO film Temple Grandin, which stars Claire Danes. Grandin also was named to Time Magazine's list of the 100 most influential people, according to the announcement. There's a photo of Temple Grandin. She is wearing a red tie, handkerchief, and a bedazzled black button-up as she looks off into the distance. This story was created with the assistance of artificial intelligence. Journalists were involved in every step of the information gathering, review, and editing process procedures. In other news, Springfield Police will run this summer's third crosswalk enforcement by Susan Schuck of the Springfield News Leader. The Springfield Police Department is conducting another crosswalk check this week, according to a news release. This is the SPD's third crosswalk enforcement operation this summer. The yield check will take place August 14th at the intersection of Jefferson Avenue and Bennett Street. It's different from the two previous enforcement operations that happened in July, which only observed pedestrian and driver behavior. During this check, an officer will act as a pedestrian and try to legally cross the street, while a second officer serves as a spotter, and a third officer will conduct traffic stops, according to the news release. Officers will still be looking for both drivers and pedestrian violations. The summer's previous efforts have resulted in 2 citations for drivers, as well as 6 warnings and 9 citations for pedestrians. In 2026, there have been 6 pedestrian deaths, with 3 happening outside of crosswalks. SPD's pedestrian safety enforcement is funded by a hazardous moving violations grant from the Missouri Department of Transportation's Traffic and Highway Division. And in other news, 10 Fitness Gym will be closing its Springfield location. An article by the Springfield Business Journal staff. The Springfield location of an Arkansas-based gym operator is slated to close. A letter sent to members and posted online indicates 10 Fitness will close effective September 23rd. A company spokesperson who declined to be named confirmed the upcoming closure this morning. Over the past several years, the Springfield fitness market has become increasingly competitive, and unfortunately, this location is no longer financially sustainable, the letter reads. With our current lease coming to an end, we made the difficult decision not to renew it. The company intends to stop processing membership payments on September 9th for individuals on bi-weekly billing, according to the letter. In Springfield, 10 Fitness operates at 1444 South Glenstone Avenue in the Glen Isle Center. According to its website, 10 Fitness offers amenities such as cardio cinema, 24/7 massage and tanning, and recovery rooms and a women's room. San Francisco-based MMCJ Invest, a commercial real estate feasibility consulting firm, called the U.S. fitness and gym industry a highly competitive market in a lengthy report on the sector issued in August 2025, noting the fitness and gym sector is fragmented but increasingly dominated by large multi-site operators and is capitalizing on post-pandemic demand for wellness. But that trend appears to be flattening. Boston-based nonprofit Health and Fitness Association, in a report from earlier this year analyzing first quarter traffic trends at over 10,000 U.S. gyms, found that fitness facilities opened this year with record foot traffic per location. While year-over-year growth has gone on for 20 consecutive quarters, HFA's research found average monthly visits per visitor were down 1.3% in the first quarter of 26, even as visits per location were up 1% over last year. MMCG's report authors forecast that by 2030, U.S. revenue from fitness and gym industry firms are projected to climb to roughly $55 billion, up from roughly $45 billion last year. And this article by Steve Pokin of Pokin Around Springfield. Father says he was wrong to hire son, a sex offender, at Academy of Hair Design. Parents recently fired him. There is a photo of Academy of Hair Design on Glenstone Avenue. This is an opinion article. David and Christy Gonzalez started the Academy of Hair Design 30 years ago. It was 3 years ago that they made their worst hiring decision. They hired their son, David Taylor Gonzalez. His job was to recruit students who were mostly young women. The business is at 1834 South Glenstone Avenue in the Plaza Shopping Center. What they didn't tell staff or Academy students is that their son is on the Missouri Sex Offender Registry. In 2020, he was found guilty of second-degree rape, a Class D felony, punished by up to 7 years in prison. Instead, he was put on probation. We're parents, the father tells me. We wanted to give our son a job, but it doesn't absolve us from making a bad decision. It was a bad decision, and so 2 weeks ago, when it all came up, we held meetings with our students and our staff, and we listened to them. We paid attention to what was happening online, and they were right. It was a bad decision. So we took action so they feel safe. They fired their son. We take total responsibility for what he did, he says. We have reformed our hiring procedures, so we're changing that. We're tightening our computer and security safety. The owners on July 29th posted on Facebook that they had returned from vacation and immediately met with students and staff over their concerns about their son's employment at the Academy of Hair Design. A year ago, there had been complaints that they had hired a sex offender, their son, and when the parents changed his job so that he worked remotely. Some complained that the son working remotely had access to personal information. Many criticized the owner's July post by saying they took too long in firing their son. They pointed out that even in his off-site job, he had access to personal information on applications. Many of those applications were from young women. The father tells me his son did nothing inappropriate while an employee. Public records show no criminal charges other than a June 23rd citation for failing to display annual registration tags. A spokesperson for the Springfield Police Department said the agency is not investigating any reports related to David Taylor Gonzalez's conduct while employed at the business. In the voluminous comments of the owner's Facebook post, more than 2,300 as of Monday afternoon, there is no allegation that the son did anything inappropriate as an employee. The Springfield Daily Citizen reached out to 10 people who were critical of the parents' July 29th letter on Facebook. 3 responded. 1 requested anonymity, which I refused to grant, pointing out that she already had commented by name on Facebook. 2 others declined comment, and 7 did not respond. The honest answer is that we are his parents, and we believe we could give our son a job. In that July 29th letter, the parents stated, "We removed him from on-site recruiting and moved him to a remote office, and we addressed it openly with our staff and students at the time. At the time, we believe those steps appropriately addressed the situation. This week, our students told us they did not, and they were right." I asked the father if he and his wife informed students and employees of their son's criminal history when he was first hired. "We did not," he says. The July 29th letter further states, "We also owe everyone an answer to a fair question. Why we hired him in the first place? The honest answer is that we are his parents, and we believed we could give our son a job while keeping the school the safe place our students deserve. Our students never signed up to carry that decision, and it was not fair to ask them to. We were wrong. Hiring him was our mistake, and we are sorry." I reached out to the son, who is now 29, married, and a father. I left a business card on his door. He did not respond. The father says that's his journey to walk. He's rebuilding his life, and he is married and does have children. He's a really good dad. He's trying to be a contributing member of society and do good. I know that's hard for many people. We get it. He's trying to make a living to support his family, which is not an easy thing to do given his past. The father estimates the Academy of Hair Design has trained 5,000 students over its 30 years in business since he started the company with his wife. They're all over Springfield, and we have a history as a company of doing the right thing, he said. In this case, we didn't, but we're committed to doing the right thing, the next right thing. Back in 2020, Greene County Circuit Judge Calvin Holden found Gonzalez guilty of second-degree rape, sodomy, and sexual abuse following a bench trial. Holden sentenced Gonzalez to 5 years of probation and a suspended imposition of sentence. Gonzalez successfully completed his probation, so there is no record of a conviction, which has not been imposed, and no record on CaseNet, the online database of Missouri courts, that he was ever charged. But David Taylor Gonzalez remains on the sex offender registry. The assault occurred on January 8, 2018. Gonzalez was 21 and his victim was 20. According to a story in the Springfield News Leader, the victim let Gonzalez stay the night at her home in January 2018 because he was intoxicated, and he then forced himself on her. The story says, months later, the woman called Gonzalez during a recorded conversation that law enforcement referred to as a cold call. During the conversation, Gonzalez apologized and said, "I raped you," according to court documents. Gonzalez was represented by defense attorney Joe Passanais and Dee Wampler, who died in 2021 at the age of 81. This is an article, the Pokin' Around column, number 367 by Steve Pokin.
And nonprofits are stepping in as the local U.S. newspapers face steep declines. Brian Fogel with the Springfield Daily Citizen brings us this story that says the recent announcement of the Branson Tri-Lakes news shuttering, at least temporarily, caused much consternation with the readers, advertisers, and public officials from our neighbor to the south. The timing, not long before an upcoming election, left county officials scrambling after they had contracted to place sample ballots in the newspaper as required by statute. Thankfully, a group of local investors are reviving the Branson paper. Local newspapers play a unique role in so many communities, yet are struggling across the country as news and media continues to fragment. Northwestern University released their State of Local News report a decade ago and continue to update it. The most recent report from 2025 cited that almost 40% of local U.S. newspapers have vanished, leaving 50 million Americans with limited or no access to a reliable source of local news since 2005. That trend continues, with nearly 3 newspapers a day shutting down across the U.S. Furthermore, the report shared the impact that void has created. Quote, in this report, we are tracking 212 U.S. counties without any local news source, up from 206 last year. In another 1,525 counties, there is only one news source remaining, typically a weekly newspaper. In addition, the report states that over the past 2 decades, print newspaper circulation across the United States has dropped by an estimated 80 million, a loss of 70% from 2005 levels. Much of that vacuum has been filled with alternative channels like influencers, podcasts, and other means that may or may not be unbiased or community-focused. Like so many other voids left by the private and public sector, nonprofits are now meeting the news and information needs for communities across the country. I first became acquainted with the concept well over a decade ago when I had the conversation with the CEO of the Grand Rapids, Michigan Community Foundation. Their foundation had supported a nonprofit startup of a news site through the Grand Rapids Community Media Center. When our former mayor Tom Carlson first reached out about starting a similar outlet in Springfield, I certainly encouraged the concept. Thanks to Mr. Carlson's vision and generosity, the Daily Citizen was launched in February 2022. It currently has 10 full-time journalists and a group of freelance contributors that equate to another 2 FTEs. Readership has grown steadily over the past 4 years to about 4,100 paid subscribers and roughly 33,000 that receive the daily email newsletter. Website traffic grew 40% in this past year as well. The Daily Citizen is financially supported by subscribers, community partners, and local citizen donors who believe in the mission and vision. That is, the mission of the Springfield Daily Citizen is to inform our community and be a catalyst for good. The vision of the Springfield Daily Citizen is to reinvent local news in Metro Springfield by telling the stories of our community, bringing issues to light, encouraging discourse, and inspiring citizens to vote and take action. But mission and vision are certainly not enough to drive success. Content is key. Fortunately, the Daily Citizen was able to attract some well-known, knowledgeable, and talented journalists who already knew and loved our community. Mr. Carlson was also able to recruit the former editor of our local traditional newspaper back to Springfield to serve as the chief executive officer. Missouri State University saw the benefit and vision and provided office space on their campus to further assist. The Daily Citizen is a member of the Institute for Nonprofit News, which supports a network of over 500 independent news sources that are nonprofit, nonpartisan, and dedicated to public service. Among INN's priorities are to elevate journalism as a philanthropic cause, creating sustainable revenue for members, sponsor experimentation that allows nonprofit news models to adapt and grow, invest in the talent and human capital that drives sustained change in an emerging field. The organization offers a wide array of research and helpful information on both the journalistic and administrative sides for nonprofit news organizations. I have mentioned before the wide variety and diversity of the nearly 2 million nonprofits across our country. They may have different missions and focus areas, but they do share commonalities in their governance and focus on community and people, not profits. That commitment, in turn, relies on the reciprocity of a community to support them. For the Daily Citizen this year, roughly 63% of their total revenue comes from subscriptions and sponsorships and advertising sales. The remainder comes from grants and donations from the community they serve. As the line goes from the Joni Mitchell song Big Yellow Taxi, don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? Hundreds of communities across the country know that feeling too well as their local news source shut down. If you're reading this, you already are a believer in the Daily Citizen and its mission. Thank you for that support. Our community is better because of the great work they do as a catalyst for good.
A group is alarmed by overcrowding at Greene County Jail as ICE holds increase. An article by Zoe McIntyre of the Springfield Daily Citizen. There is a photo of the new Greene County Jail that opened in June of 2022. It features concrete floors, simple metal tables with 4 seats each. It is 2 stories. This appears to be like an interior jail cell. There are green painted doors, but everything is painted in shades of gray other than that. Springfield area activists have tracked a new record number of federal inmates being held for immigration violations in the Greene County Jail. On August 10th, the overall number of people in the jail was greater than the number of available beds, according to a press release from the Southern Missouri Immigration Alliance, SMIA. On many days, ICE detainees represented about a third of the jail's population. Deputy Jonah Beatles, spokesperson for the Greene County Sheriff's Office, the GCSO, confirmed that there are 1,254 people in the jail, including 413 ICE detainees as of Monday. The county built the new jail in 2022 with a capacity for 1,242 inmates. The GCSO has an intergovernmental agreement with the U.S. Marshal Service and ICE, allowing the jail to house federal inmates, including ICE detainees. The contract estimates that the jail has 375 beds available for federal inmates, according to previous reporting by the Daily Citizen. This is not the first time that they have broken the number of estimated beds in the contract, but it is the first time that we have seen the total jail population exceed capacity at the facility. SMIA stated in the press release titled Greene County Jail Overcrowding. Missouri law requires a county sheriff to receive into his custody any prisoner or prisoners who may be from time to time committed to his charge under authority of the United States, and to safely keep each prisoner or prisoners according to the warrant or receipt of such commitment until he or they shall be discharged by due course of law of the United States. So, what happens to inmates in overcrowded cells? In late July, the Daily Citizen asked Beatles whether certain pods in the jail ever contained more inmates than beds. Referencing local data activists had compiled from the jail roster that appeared to show crowding in some cells housing ICE detainees. Beatles provided the following statement via email on July 23rd. At times, a housing unit may temporarily hold more inmates than the number of beds available. In those situations, each affected inmate is provided with a cot-styled bed and mattress. While our overall facility is equipped to house the number of inmates you're aware of, not all housing units are considered general population. We operate several special housing units, and classification factors such as medical needs, security concerns, or gang affiliations can limit our ability to distribute inmates evenly throughout the facility. It's also important to note that a housing unit with a higher than normal count is not a permanent condition. These numbers change frequently as our inmate populations fluctuate. Additionally, the public inmate roster you referenced may occasionally have a slight delay in updating, which can lead to temporary discrepancies. The Greene County Jail's online roster previously displayed which cell each inmate was housed in. GCSO apparently stopped reporting this information on the public jail tracker following the Daily Citizen's inquiry in late July. Activists are severely concerned with the jail's condition. We are severely concerned with the conditions inside Greene County Jail, SMIA President Dominique Moore stated in a press release. According to SMIA, 392 of the ICE detainees in the jail on August 10th were men. Because of this, we assume that overcrowding is even worse in the men's side of the jail than the numbers may reflect, the group stated. SMIA also said the organization is also concerned ICE detainees are not always afforded rights to due process. Local activists have tried to pressure GCSO into allowing stakeholder visits for community members to check on jail conditions and visit ICE detainees.
And we have a couple of obituaries to share today. Rex King, aged 84, passed away July 23rd, 2026. Those arrangements are being provided by Gorman Sharp Funeral Home. And those services will be held tomorrow, August 15th at 11 a.m. at Southgate Baptist Church with a visitation at 10 a.m. Also, Charlotte Joan Hunter Dowell, aged 86, of Springfield, Missouri, entered heaven on August 4th, 2026. She was born on May 17, 1940, in Borger, Texas. Joan and Bill Dowell Jr. married in 1958, and together they shared 68 years of marriage and a lifelong commitment to ministry. She is survived by her husband, Bill Dowell, Springfield, Missouri, their 3 children, Connie Allison and husband, David Lynchburg, Virginia, Stephen Dowell and wife, Robin Chanute, and Kansas, David Dowell and wife, Kathy, from Osage Beach. 1 sister, Charles C. Witt of Sweeney, Texas, as well as 9 grandchildren, 16 great-grandchildren, and many nieces and nephews. A celebration of Joan's life will be held Tuesday, August 11th, 2026. That was held Tuesday, August 11th at 10 a.m. at Greenlawn North. Memories and condolences may be shared online at www.greenlawnfuneralhome.com. Our condolences go to the friends and family of those mourning today. We are currently broadcasting live from the Blind Community Thrift Store in Springfield, Missouri, located at 2713 North Kansas Expressway. You can find amazing deals Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Help the blind, help the community.
Nixa Police will join ICE program, training some officers to enforce immigration laws. An article by Zoe McIntyre of the Springfield Daily Citizen. There is a photo of Nixa Police Captain Jason Fleetwood introducing Resolution 2026-36, which reads, execute a memorandum of agreement with the United States Department of Homeland Security to allow Nixa police officers to be trained and perform duties under 8 U.S.C. 1357G. He is standing at a podium reading this memorandum. The Nixa Police Department, NPD, is entering a task force model agreement with Immigrations and Custom Enforcement, ICE, allowing ICE agents to train and authorize some Nixa police officers to perform specific immigration enforcement tasks. On August 11th, Nixa City Council voted 5-1 to adopt a resolution authorizing the Nixa Police Department to enter ICE's 287G program, despite several residents speaking against the agreement. Our intent is not to change the mission of the Nixa Police Department or engage in general immigration enforcement, said Captain Jason Fleetwood. Rather, this gives our officers an additional legal framework, training, and information and federal resources when immigration issues are encountered throughout legitimate law enforcement activity and provides opportunities for greater cooperation with our federal partners. There is a photo of Nixa City Council listening to public comments regarding potential collaboration between Nixa Police and ICE. This photo was taken on Tuesday, August 11th, 2026. The members of the Nixa City Council are sitting behind their desks listening to someone speak while a timer counts down behind them. Across the country, a growing number of law enforcement agencies are participating in the 287G program. Several Springfield area law enforcement agencies, including the Christian County Sheriff's Office, have entered agreements with ICE since 2025. About a dozen Nixa and Springfield residents made public comments on August 11th, mostly in opposition to the partnership with ICE. City Council's vote on the resolution triggered an outburst from a handful of people. Your constituents are who you're supposed to listen to, but you didn't, and there were a lot of us here, resident Mindy Nielsen stated as she left the meeting. Councilmember Kelly Morris of District 3 cast the lone vote in opposition to the 287G resolution. She stated that she voted no because the community, through public comments, expressed opposition to the ICE program. There is a photo of Mindy Nielsen of Nixa walking back to her seat after giving remarks about Nixa's police's potential partnership with ICE. She is wearing a shirt that says "Re Sisters for Life," and it is a fist holding a rose. She looks like she is walking with determination, and there are some police officers sitting in the background of the photo. Nielsen urged City Council to vote against the Nixa Police Department joining the ICE program, stating that 287G partnerships do not make the community safer. Instead, it erodes the vital trust between our local police department and our residents, she said. When families fear that a simple traffic stop, call for emergency medical help, or reporting a crime would lead to federal immigration inquiries, whole communities go into the shadows and public safety suffers for everyone. Nielsen could be seen wearing a Resistors for Life t-shirt. A few people who spoke about the 287G program identified themselves as members of the Southern Missouri Immigration Alliance, SMIA, and Immigrant Justice Collaborative Ministry of National Avenue Christian Church in Springfield. In her public comments, Nixa resident Kayla Goulbalt-Jungers referenced SMIA's analysis and reports on ICE detention data in Greene County. She said she has donated money to women being held by ICE in the Greene County Jail so that they could afford hygiene products. The overwhelming majority of ICE detainees in that jail do not have a criminal conviction. To be holding those people there without a criminal conviction is unconstitutional, Gilbert-Jungers said. She questioned whether the Nixa Police Department has any incentive to join the 287G program so it can receive federal resources. Ron Sanders, Secretary of the Christian County, Missouri Republican Assembly, was the only speaker who urged City Council to enter the ICE program. Having ICE as a partnership is crucial to making sure that all those bad things that we've seen on TV do not happen here, Sanders said. Our local law enforcement, if they happen to run into these situations, they know how to deal with it. There is a photo of a flock camera. It is located adjacent to the Highway 65 off-ramp on Highway 14 in Ozark. Two residents who said they were not necessarily against the Nixa Police Department collaborating with ICE asked questions about whether data from flock license plate reading cameras in Nixa could be accessed by federal agents if the Nixa Police Department enters into the 287G agreement. The AI-powered surveillance cameras have drawn scrutiny from Christian County residents and people across the U.S. due to concerns about privacy and the potential for some authorities to misuse the technology. Christian County law enforcement officials say the flock systems help them investigate and prevent some crimes. I'm for immigration enforcement. I'm not so much for using massive surveillance to achieve it, said Nicholas Mueller of Nixa. He said the Nixa Police Department's memorandum of agreement with ICE could allow federal authorities to ask for data collected in the Nixa community related to the very vague and broad definition of investigations relating to the MOA. Fleetwood addressed Mueller's questions, stating the specific tracking data Nixa would be required to render to ICE upon request is an arrest log. When we encounter an individual that we end up taking enforcement actions with, that data itself is tracked, not how we encountered the individual, Fleetwood said, adding that it has nothing to do with flock. Nixa Police Department started officially collaborating with the federal agencies through another task force in 2026. In May, the Nixa Police Department joined the U.S. Marshals Service Midwest Violent Fugitive Task Force, a permanent regional initiative between federal, state, and local agencies to apprehend fugitives with active warrants. This task force primarily focuses on violent crimes against persons, weapons offenses, felony drug cases, missing children, and sex offenders. USMS provides training, equipment, and reimbursement for the hours an assigned police officer spends on the task force. Nixa Police Chief Joe Campbell previously told the Daily Citizen that the Nixa Police Department maintained a working relationship with USMS for many years before entering the task force. He said the benefit of entering the USMS task force was that it brings federal resources to bear for our local cases. Major Chad Tennis addressed several questions and concerns raised by community members before City Council voted on the 287G resolution. He said the program would not authorize general random community-wide immigration checks. The Nixa Police Department maintains built-in safeguards to preserve community trust and govern use of force. Bias-based policing, victim and witness assistance, and public complaints, Tennis said. He stated that officers could only exercise limited, delegated authority in immigration enforcement during the course of regular law enforcement encounters. Tennis told the Daily Citizen that the Nixa Police Department has not identified how many officers would be trained to enforce immigration laws through the 287G program. That decision will be based on officers' experience, position within the organization, and other factors, he said. ICE provides a 48-hour block of training for officers to be authorized to take on certain ICE agent responsibilities, according to Fleetwood. According to previous Daily Citizen reporting, officers who are trained under the 287G task force model may be authorized to interrogate people suspected of being in the country illegally, arrest people without warrants if they have entered the country illegally and may attempt to escape, serve and execute arrest warrants for immigration violations, administer oaths and consider evidence for alien processing, prepare charging documents for the signature of an ICE officer, issue immigration detainers, maintain custody of people arrested by ICE, and transport people to ICE-approved detention facilities. Local agencies participating in 287G programs are eligible to receive reimbursement from the federal government to cover the hours officers spend enforcing immigration laws and equipment used during those operations. A high-profile Nixa case ending in an ICE arrest. There is a photo of Nixa Police and Christian County Sheriff's deputies responding to the Forest Park neighborhood on July 15th, 2026. There are at least 7 cop cars on a 2-lane road with their lights on. Not much more can be told from the photo. Tennis also explained from his perspective why the 287G agreement would be a benefit to the Nixa community. Our local department's primary focus is protecting public safety during routine lawful policing, he said. As an example, if our officers respond to an active, volatile scene, like our recent high-profile shots fired call where an individual fled from police, this tool allows us to immediately identify individuals with outstanding federal detainers or deportation orders even before new state-level charges are formally filed, and it bridges an information gap during lawful encounters. Tennis referenced a mid-July incident in which police responded to a call about someone shooting a gun in Nixa's Forest Park neighborhood and chased a man on foot. The man, identified as 20-year-old Edwin Ramon Zelaya Raldales, was riding a bicycle through the neighborhood and fled when police attempted to make contact with him. According to an incident report from the Christian County Sheriff's Office, Zelaya Raldales was located at his girlfriend's house, which was in the neighborhood. Zelaya Raldales was arrested at the residence and later admitted that he ran from police because of his immigration status, the report states. In the report, the detective concluded that the call about someone firing a gun was unfounded, and Zelaya Raldales did not match the description of that the caller provided, and that he was not found with a firearm. Officers found that Zelaya Raldales had a deportation order from a federal judge, according to an announcement from CCSO. He was booked into the Greene County Jail on an ICE hold, and no other charges were filed. The reach of ICE is expanding around Springfield. More than 30 local law enforcement agencies in Southwest Missouri collaborate directly with ICE through the agency's 287G program, per ICE's website. Since 2025, the Christian County Sheriff's Office and Police Department in Sparta, Billings, Ash Grove, and Walnut Grove have signed contracts with ICE. The Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act of 1996 created Section 287G, according to ICE's website. However, the program wasn't commonly used by local law enforcement agencies before President Donald Trump's second term. In January 2025, Trump signed an executive order instructing the Secretary of Homeland Security to execute more 287G agreements. Local Republican lawmakers have also urged more law enforcement agencies to enter the 287G program. If a law enforcement agency, whether it's the city police or the county sheriff's office, accepts 287G, that means that for each officer that's certified with this program, the agency will receive up to $60,000 per year, Congressman Eric Burleson said during an April press conference. This is money that's being left on the table for any local law enforcement that does not do this work. The Springfield Police Department and Greene County Sheriff's Office have not entered the 287G Task Force program. However, the Greene County Sheriff's Office holds a contract with ICE, allowing the federal government to send people detained by ICE to the Greene County Jail. The number of ICE detainees in the Greene County Jail has increased since Greene County Sheriff Jim Arnett entered the contract in October 2024. ICE detainees now represent a third of the jail's total population.
And a Sparta man was indicted last week on a charge of first-degree murder. He is accused of shooting and killing Jack Hoosh in Brunner in 1997. Zoe McIntyre from the Springfield Daily Citizen brings us this story that says a Sparta man who was recently indicted on a charge of first-degree murder in a Christian County cold case killing is now behind bars facing life in prison if he is convicted. James Deckard, age 47, was arraigned on August 11th and pleaded not guilty. He is accused of shooting and killing John Jack Hoosh of Brunner in November 1997. Prosecutors believe Deckard became angry when Hoosh refused to sell him a Camaro, according to documents used to charge Deckard. Hoosh was a great pillar of the community. He'd give you the shirt off his back, said Christy Caffey Jennings, whose father lived next door to Hoosh. Hoosh was a 62-year-old farmer who sold vehicles from his home. It was Jennings and her ex-husband who discovered Hoosh's body. For nearly 30 years, Jennings said she has experienced nightmares and prayed for justice. After Deckard's arraignment, Jennings spoke to reporters on the steps of the Christian County Justice Center. "I really wish this would have happened a long time ago," she said. Jennings told reporters that if she could speak to Deckard, she would say, "I know it was him. I've always known it was him." Deckard was in the same class as Jennings, she said. He would have been about 18 in November 1997. Jennings described Deckard as a troubled kid. 2 days before Hoosh was killed, Jennings had a conversation with Hoosh about the Camaro he was selling. Deckard wanted to buy the car, but Hoosh refused to sell it to the teen because he was known for passing bad checks, Jennings said. The prosecuting attorney's request for a warrant states that Deckard allegedly fled his residence when law enforcement officers attempted to arrest him on a warrant for passing bad checks and questioned him about Hoosh's killing. After discovering Hoosh's body, Jennings said she kind of lived in fear of retaliation, and she felt that investigators did not take her suspicions about Deckard seriously. "This is a chapter in my life I can finally feel a close to," Jennings wrote in a Facebook post on August 10th. "I had to live with what I saw that day and the way that investigator treated myself and my ex-husband for too long." Deckard is a registered sex offender who was previously convicted of several felonies in Christian County, including stealing a motor vehicle, forgery, and child molestation. He is currently being held without bond. The article concludes with a booking photo of James Deckard provided by the Christian County Sheriff's Office. He is wearing a white and orange striped scrub top against a white mini blind background. And the best way to describe his expression would be stunned, shocked. He looks a little surprised to be there.
A Springfield man who attempted to buy a University Heights home with forged check has been sentenced to prison by Jackie Rowald of the Springfield Daily Citizen. There is a picture of the convicted man, Terry Heitman. He is looking very displeased. He has some bruising and cuts on his cheek and nose, and has a very downturned expression. The Springfield man who attempted to buy a $450,000 home in the University Heights neighborhood last year with a fraudulent check admitted to his crimes and was sentenced to prison this week. On Monday, August 3rd, Terry Maurice Heitman, 67, pleaded guilty to 2 counts of forgery and 1 count of aggravated fleeing, all Class D felonies. As part of the plea agreement, the prosecutor dropped 6 forgery charges and 1 count of attempted stealing. In accordance with that agreement, Judge Jerry Harmison sentenced Heitman to 7 years in prison for each charge, with those sentences to be served concurrently. Heitman, described in court documents as a career criminal with an extensive history of fraud spanning 46 years, provided a fraudulent cashier's check in 2024 for $450,000 to try to purchase a home located at 806 East Linwood Street. While he was out on bond in the fraudulent $450,000 check case, Heitman racked up more charges. Court documents show Greene County Assistant Prosecutor filed a motion to rearrest Heitman on June 1st and charged him in another case with forgery. According to the probable cause statement for the more recent forgery charge, Heitman brought his 2017 Audi to Auto Technics Import Service in Republic for a scheduled service appointment on March 23rd. Heitman reported to Auto Technics on March 27th and allegedly presented a check from Cadence Bank for $1,095 to pay for the repairs to the vehicle. When Auto Technics attempted to deposit the check, it was returned with the following information as unlocate account. An investigator with the Republic Police Department contacted Cadence Bank and was told Heitman did not have an account there and the check was worth nothing. A search of online court records revealed Heitman was also charged in January with a Class E felony of passing a bad check in Christian County. Though the probable cause statements for his charge do not contain much information about what investigators believe happened, it states that Heitman wrote a check for $4,196 to Exclusive Auto in Ozark. According to the Christian County probable cause statement, the check was returned from the bank marked unable to locate. With 2 felony warrants for his arrest, Heitman attempted to flee from a Springfield police officer on June 16th, according to court documents. According to the probable cause statement written by the officer, Heitman drove his black Audi off at a high rate of speed when the officer attempted to stop him. The officer spotted Heitman's Audi parked in a driveway and observed Heitman walking away from the car. The officer told Heitman to stop, but Heitman continued to walk towards the residence. When the officer attempted to put Heitman in handcuffs, Heitman tensed up and pulled away. He was eventually taken into custody and booked into the Greene County Jail. In court filings, Assistant Greene County Prosecutor Kimberly Pooley wrote that Heitman has an extensive criminal history of fraud with not just state but federal convictions spanning 46 years. The prosecutor then listed Heitman's convictions, which began in 1979 with passing a bad check. He's also been convicted numerous times for forgery and fraudulent or illegal use of credit cards. In 2019, he was convicted of misappropriation of funds of elderly nursing home residents. Heitman also has been remanded to the Department of Corrections numerous times, the prosecutor wrote. As Heitman was led out of the courtroom Monday, defense attorney John Peacock patted him on the back and said, "Take care of yourself, Terry."
And several celebrities are celebrating birthdays today. Happy birthday to Mila Kunis, who turns 43 today. Halle Berry turns 60. Magic Johnson is 67 today. Wishing a very happy birthday to Steve Martin, who turns 81 this year. Marcia Gay Harden is 67. NFL quarterback Tim Tebow turns 39 today. Actress Brianna Hildebrand, best known for her role in Deadpool, is 30 today. And Catherine Bell from Army Wives and the Good Witch turns 58. Happy birthday to the celebrities celebrating today, as well as to all of our listeners out here. And in other arts and entertainment news, Taryn Shore McKee from 417 Magazine has things to do this week in Springfield, Missouri. She says while August has been brutally hot, cooler hiking and camping weather and Labor Day weekend are just a few weeks away. In the meantime, there's plenty of summer fun to be had around 417 land for free outdoor concerts, a movie matinee, the Summer Sizzler 5K, 10K, 15K, a paranormal circus, Cardinals fans on field fireworks, and Biz 417's annual Ladies Who Launch. August is also National Sandwich Month and National Dog Month, so here are 2 fun excuses to celebrate accordingly. Springfield has some incredible sandwich shops, and Fast Night Pool is hosting a dog swim next Monday. Whether you're already looking to fall or savoring these long, late summer days, there's plenty on the calendar to keep you busy. Starting with today, Friday, August 14th, we have Springfield Cardinals fans on field fireworks at Route 66 Stadium. Those tickets are $11 to $72, and that starts at 7:05 p.m. You can cheer on the Cardinals as they take on the Northwest Arkansas Naturals. Then stick around for a beloved summer tradition. After the game, fans can head down to the outfield for a special fireworks show. We have sunset on the square in the historic Ozark Square. That is free from 6 to 8 this evening. Head to downtown Ozark for a free family-friendly summer concert series. August's headliners are Dallas Jones and Molly Healy, and you can also expect a handful of popular local food trucks. Bring a lawn chair or blanket to sit on. Finally, for today, we have Paranormal Cirque Inferno at Battlefield Mall. You can look for the Big Top tent. That is an ages 13 plus show. Those tickets run $20 to $65 and showtimes vary. Circuitalia presents a European-style traveling spectacle show under a chic striped big top. This particular show is designed for mature fans interested in the thrills of the paranormal with traditional circus elements like aerial acrobatics and fire. Tomorrow, Saturday, August 15th, we have Wilson's Creek National Battlefield Artillery Program. That is free at 11 a.m. You can head to Stop 5 on the road tour and watch the loading and firing of a genuine Civil War cannon. This free educational event demonstrates the importance of cannons in the war, as well as how units work together. If you miss this one, you'll have 2 more chances this summer, August 29th and Labor Day weekend. Also tomorrow, Summer Sizzler, Rutledge Wilson Farm Park. Those tickets are $17 to $25.98. It starts at 7 a.m. Start some friendly competition in your household and get everyone to participate in this family-friendly race. Choose from a 5K, 10K, or 15K, plus an untimed kids dash for children 10 and under. In addition to the race itself, participants get great swag, Kona Ice, and other refreshing finish line treats. This Tuesday, August 18th, we have Jim Florentine at the Springfield Comedy Club. Those tickets run $28.29 to $37. That show is at 7 p.m. Not only is Jim Florentine a stand-up comedian, he's also an author, TV show host, voiceover actor on the wildly popular Crank Yankers, and regular on radio shows including Howard Stern and Opie and Anthony. He also hosts his own podcast and Sirius XM show. Finally, Wednesday, August 19th, we have a movie matinee for Tommy Boy at the Gilios. We have $5 or $10 combo tickets, which include a snack and a non-alcoholic drink. Beat the heat with the midday showing of 1995's Tommy Boy, a hilarious, easy-to-love movie starring David Spade and the late Chris Farley. Finally, Wednesday, August 19th, we have String and Stone, Crafting Ancient Tools at Finley Farms. That is for ages 12 plus. Those tickets are $50, and that takes place from 6 to 8 p.m. Stone and plant fibers are invaluable ancient tools still in use around the world today. Learn how to use them while forming a deeper connection to the natural world by creating cordage and sharp stone tools. Great idea for a date night.
All right, next up we have a lifestyle article called Lead Mine, Missouri, a Mennonite community near Tunis by Alyssa Ronnie. Where I was raised in central Missouri, we have a word for driving out to Mennonite country to make our money stretch with bulk groceries and fresh baked goods, Dutchin. It has become a pastime for my family, the perfect way to spend a free Saturday afternoon as they catch up with the local who's who. That's why Lead Mine feels all too familiar. Each stop provides a glimpse in the community's beating heart, the endless dedication of its employees masked only by swinging doors into kitchens and stocked rooms. Lead Mine falls within the Tunis Township, about an hour's drive from Springfield. It is named for a nearby lead mine abandoned in the late 19th century, predating the Stouffer Mennonites that settled in the area around 1969. For the trek, I recommend setting aside a few hours to get the full experience and checking store hours ahead of time. Additionally, most stores accept cash or check only, so be sure to visit an ATM beforehand. One of my first stops was Meadowview Dutch Market, which carries groceries including surplus and scratch and dent goods, alongside bulk candies, dried fruits, and nut mixes. Two big upsides for the store, besides its inflation-friendly prices, are its long hours Monday through Saturday and its card reader, a rarity in the community. Plus, it has some of the most affordable local eats with made-to-order deli sandwiches. If you're looking for a decent from-scratch treat, there is no better place in the area than Ozarks Winds Bake Shop, a cozy bake shop inside a log cabin that smells just as divine as you think it would. Its shelves are fully stocked with a gorgeous assortment of baked goods that include personal fruit pies, whoopie pies, danishes, cookies, and bread. I had their single-serving German chocolate cake, which was fresh, moist, and made me want to return to the store for more. Wanger's Greenhouse and Nursery is one of 2 greenhouses in the area, and it has been family-run for over 20 years, with most plants being grown on the property. They will open for autumn around Labor Day, with hours being 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. They are a hotspot for mums during this time, alongside other fall plants like pumpkins and shrubs. Another spot to buy mums is the Lead County Country Store, where you can also purchase books, cast iron, kitchen utensils, and locally made gifts. My favorite part of the store was the free roaming cats and peacocks outside. The electricity-free store is owned by Dwayne and Julia Bauman, who also run the neighboring restaurant, Cafe Edelweiss. Cafe Edelweiss serves up authentic Bavarian food to slamming crowds. Running from mid-March to December, the restaurant is only open for lunch from 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Monday through Saturday. As a vegetarian, I was pleasantly surprised to find suitable lunch options on the menu, including a Chipotle black bean burger and an Impossible burger. These were served alongside German staples that I ate on a previous trip to Swabian, Germany, including, I'm going to try to pronounce this word, Kartoffelsalat, a warm potato salad, and of course, Bavarian-styled Brezeln. The atmosphere is akin to a typical country diner experience, except for the hissing of the electricity-free mechanical ceiling fan and the movement of the dozens of vibrant cuckoo clocks on the walls. Miss the early bird crowd at the restaurant by swinging by around noon rather than right at 11. If you are looking for a pick-me-up, Cafe Edelweiss serves iced coffees, as does Ozark Coffee Bin, a nearby cozy cafe nestled inside a repurposed grain silo. It is a great place to get both Wi-Fi, which is hard to come by in Mennonite country, and indulgent coffee shop favorites. I tried their salted caramel frappe, one of their most popular items, which is smoother than the most blended frappes I have had, and the perfect amount of sweet, just like the cafe and employees. For a rugged outdoor experience, Lead Mine Conservation Area is just the place, with a spot for primitive tent camping and trails for hiking, biking, and horseback riding. The area also provides about 2 miles of Niagara River frontage and access to Jake's Creek. Expect to see tons of wildlife, including deers, turkey, squirrels, and rabbits, with a nearly 8,000-acre area. While in-season hunting is permitted for all major game species, fishing opportunities are more limited.
And Springfield Schools and Law Enforcement launch a student safety campaign. Susan Schuch with the Springfield News Leader said Springfield's public schools and area law enforcement are reminding drivers to keep an eye out for students as the first day of school approaches. With kids heading back to school on August 25th, SPS, Springfield Police Department, and the Greene County Sheriff's Office have partnered to create a safety campaign with a simple but critical message. Distractions behind the wheel can have dangerous consequences for children walking to school or getting onto or off a bus. In August and September, SPD's traffic unit will focus on bus stop arm violations and school zone speed enforcement. Quote, "This is a shared responsibility," said Jim Farrell, SPS Chief of School Police, in the news release. Whether you're a parent, a student, or a driver passing through a school zone, your choices make a difference in keeping children safe. We want to thank you for listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. Tune in every week, Monday through Friday, on the Blind Community Thrift Store's YouTube channel at 10 a.m. for more up-to-date news from the Springfield News Leader, Springfield Daily Citizen, Springfield Business Journal, and 417 Magazine. Listen after we are live on the Audio Reader Network at www.reader.ku.edu. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. You can contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed